This video will show you how to build a simple sheet bag. This is a sheet bag that works great for sheets, lines, and accessories on your boat. We suggest you pause here and study the material list. You may already have in your possession the snap fastener installation tool, and you may not need the hole cutter if you want to install these holes manually yourself in the fabric. You'll be cutting two fabric shapes from the Phifertex material. We suggest you pause here and study this for your patterning. We've chosen the Phifertex Gray to make this sheet bag, and Deb is simply marking out the pattern that has been shown to you earlier in this video. So she uses a yardstick and just carefully marks the Phifertex material to indicate where she'll be cutting these patterns out. You'll notice that she lays one panel on top of the other. The best cloth usage is to actually lay it side by side, but because of the fact that we're going to be using the fabric on the side of this panel, we're laying it on top of each other here. There's no need to use a hot knife. Scissors will work great. This material doesn't really unravel much at all. Here's what the two shapes will look like when they're cut out or ready to be sewn together. But before we sew them, we need to create a hem. We'll create a 2 1/4 inch hem along the long edge of this square pattern. And we want to do that by marking lines on the Phifertex and then drawing a line straight down so that they're exactly the same. We'll also create a 2 1/4 inch hem on this larger pattern with the two notches, the 4-inch notches at the bottom. On this section that is going to have the snaps installed, this is the back section of our sheet bag, we will create a double hem with the Phifertex material. And we're also going to insert a 1-inch dacron tape into this hem. Sailrite sells a 2-inch dacron tape, so if you purchase the 2-inch dacron tape, you'll need to slit it down to 1 inch, so you can actually use it for 2 sheet bags if you like. By inserting this dacron tape, we are assured that the snaps are not going to pull out of this assembly easily. You may skip this process of inserting the dacron tape if you like. 3 layers of Phifertex is usually sufficient for the snap fastener installation, but we really like to go overboard, so we recommend inserting the 1-inch dacron tape into this hem. Then we create a straight stitch right along the inner edge and the outer edge of this hem. And you want to do a straight stitch that is as long as your sewing machine can handle. We recommend at least a 5 millimeter. And then we'll take that other panel and create the exact same hem at the bottom of this. We will not be inserting a dacron tape in this panel because of the fact that there are no snap fasteners in this. So we'll just create a 2-inch hem exactly as we did previously, and we'll create some sewing along the inner edge and the outer edge with a straight stitch again. We're using the Sailrite 111 sewing machine, and be sure to reverse your stitches at the beginning and the end to lock your stitches in place. Alright, same process. Here we are with that process completed. We fast forwarded a little bit here. Now we take that same fabric panel, and you'll notice the hem is facing up here. The raw edge of the hem is facing up. We're working from the inside of the bag, and she sews that corner, reversing at the beginning and the end. And we'll do that obviously to the other side as well. Fold it over as shown here in the video, and then sew that short edge, locking your stitch at the beginning and the end. Alright, that's done. Once that's done, find the small back panel, and we'll be placing that right on the back of this assembly. Make sure your hem on this back panel is facing out. Remember, we're working from the inside of the bag. The sheet bag will be turned right side out when we're done. You'll notice here we're matching up the 2 hems at the top here, and that's where we're going to start sewing. And we want to make sure that we reverse several times here to lock those 2 hems together. And then we just sew down the short side of the sheet bag all the way to the corner. When we do this, we leave the needle buried at the exact corner, lift our foot, and roll this panel around so that we can sew along the long bottom edge. Okay, so the needle's buried. Now we lower the foot, We do some reversing and we sew along this long edge with a straight stitch again. And when we get to the second corner, we do the same process all over again, being sure that we're matching up those edges appropriately. Bury your needle, lift your foot, roll the panel. You should do some reversing here as well. I don't think we do it in this video, but we really should do a little bit of reversing here to secure that corner. We do some reversing. That's good. And then go all the way up and do some reversing to lock those double hems. You're done. Now all that's necessary is to install the snaps. Before we install the snaps, we need to turn the bag right side out. So just push on each one of these corners to aid the reversal of the bag to the right side at being out. And then we'll take a 1/8 inch hole cutter and position it right where we want the snaps, which are usually on the back side of the bag and usually right at the corner section so the bag doesn't hang at the corners. And we're using a rubber cutting block on the bottom side to prevent damage to the table and also damage to our 1/8 inch hole cutter. In lieu of a 1/8 inch hole cutter, you can just use a razor blade and cut a X in there for the insertion of the snap rivet or snap post. Make sure you position your snap so that the button is on the inside and the socket is on the underside. So here's the appropriate way to install that. Now we're using the Deluxe Snap Faster installation tool. You can also use the less expensive installation tool, but this one's all steel, so it does a great job of rolling that rivet over beautifully. Then give it a few blows of the hammer until the rivet's rolled over nicely and secures the socket to the back side of that button, and then do the same thing to the other side as well. The best tool for installing snaps is a press and snap tool. If you have that tool, use that tool, which pre-punches the hole automatically and installs the snap all in one squeeze of the trigger. Make sure that you position the installation tool's anvil so that the concave side is facing up. That's all there is to making a simple sheet bag. And then obviously the stud portion of the snap with the screw would be screwed onto the boat and snapped into the bag. I'm Eric Grant with Sailrite. Thanks for watching.